Let's be honest, how many times have you skipped breakfast thinking it would help you save calories for later, or push through hunger because you thought less food meant faster weight loss? Yeah, well, I used to do that too. There was a time when skipping meals felt like a win. I generally thought that if I eat less, I will automatically weigh less. I'd skip breakfast, drink coffee, distract myself until lunch or even sometimes later, and all day long I felt like I was in control until the evening hit. And everything that I had saved in terms of calorie came crashing down. If that sounds familiar to you, you're not alone, and you're definitely not broken. You're just stuck in a cycle that dieting taught you to trust. But here's the truth. I wish someone had told me way sooner. Skipping meal does not help you lose weight. It actually makes it harder mentally, emotionally, and biologically. And the worst part, it's keeping you stuck in that cycle you're actually trying to break. So today I want to show you exactly how skipping meals backfires and what to do instead so that you can feel more at peace with food and your body. Here's the truth that most influencers or wellness influencers and what I eat in a day videos don't tell you. And yes, I also mean those that show a protein lunch or a protein bar for lunch. It's pretty much similar to skipping a meal. So skipping a meal is actually a stressor. And when your body feels stressed, it doesn't burn fat, it holds onto it. And even if your brain is trying to be good, your biology is going, uh-oh, there's not enough food, let's slow everything down. And here's what's really going on when you skip meals. First off, a skipping meal is a stressor. It raises cortisol, which then can increase cravings, mess with blood sugar, disrupt your metabolism, and even interrupt sleep. But more in details, what happens is that you train your body not to trust you. When you constantly undereat or delay meals, your body thinks there's a food shortage. So what does it do? It slows down your metabolism, it increases further stress hormones, and turns up cravings, especially for carbs and sugar. So your body isn't broken, it's actually trying to protect you. And the more you ignore your hunger cues, the more intense those cravings become later in the day. Then you also become more vulnerable to overeating, especially through the form of binging in the evening. So have you ever skipped meals all day only to binge in the evening? That is not lack of willpower, that's your biology, because restriction leads to obsession. Your brain is wired to fixate on the thing it feels deprived of, especially food. So by the time dinner rolls around, your hunger feels urgent, chaotic, and impossible to stop. Then you will also lose connection to your natural cues. The more you override hunger, the harder it gets to know when you're actually hungry or full. You start to feel hunger and fullness only at extremes, either starving or stuffed, but often no in between, which means your relationship with food becomes more mental than actually physical. And that is what can lead to that constant overthinking, guilt, and feeling out of control. I remember the days where I would feel so proud of myself for skipping lunch or just having something very small. Same for dinner. I've always been a big breakfast girly, but in my head I felt proud but then at, let's say, 9 p.m. when I found myself knee-deep in snacks, emptying, like with all the packets around me, I would wonder what was wrong with me. I wasn't just weak, I was hungry. And I didn't know how to give myself permission to eat earlier without the guilt. When I was restricting during the day, I felt so proud, but it led to binging and I would feel terrible. So it was an ongoing cycle because I didn't know how to allow myself to eat before, because I thought it's a lack of willpower or that I'm a failure. So what is the fix? Well, the simplest, most underrated way to reduce overeating and support your metabolism is this: regular, reliable meals throughout your day, because consistency helps your body feel safe again. Think of these meals like checkpoints that keep your energy steady, your blood sugar balanced, and your cravings calm. No extreme planning, no tracking, just simple supportive meals at consistent times throughout the day. So this can look like this: a morning meal within 90 minutes of waking up that starts the day with safety and blood sugar balance. This does not necessarily mean a huge breakfast, but at least something, because this signals safety to your nervous system. It breaks that overnight fast and tells your body we're not in danger, we're not starving. And I'm talking about a balanced breakfast with protein, carbs, and fat, even if it's just something small, even if it's just eggs on toast, overnight oats, or other simple examples would be toast with nut butter and banana, eggs on sourdough and salted spinach, Greek yogurt with a few berries, sprinkled granola, maybe some peanut butter, because this is truly what helps prevent that 3 p.m. crash in terms of energy and that 9 p.m. binging attack. Then you also want to make sure that you have lunch as a midday meal that's satisfying and not just convenient, because this will prevent that late afternoon crash, supports your focus and stabilizes your energy, stabilizes your blood sugar. And this is another one that many people skip or rush through with something light, like a protein bar or a snack plate that's just really a few bites of whatever was in the fridge. And yeah, the protein bar is something that I frequently see in What I Eat in a Day videos, especially nowadays, where it is becoming trend again, like especially, for example, in TikTok, about being skinny, and then they show what they eat in a day, and it's always tiny meals. And for example, at lunch, it's just a protein bar. And this is pretty much the same as skipping a meal because you're still undereating. So when you undereat or skip lunch, your blood sugar will then eventually tank in the afternoon. And that's when cravings start to take over, because when you're low on energy because not getting that energy from food, your cravings become even stronger because your body needs that energy and also it is hungry. So whereas a balanced lunch gives your body a reset, it tells your nervous system we're still supported, we're still safe, and that steadiness helps you show up with more focus, less irritability, and way fewer food thoughts leading into that evening. So what makes a solid lunch? Once again, a good source of carbs, protein and fat, something fresh or crunchy. So here are a few quick examples. Maybe it's a big wrap with hummus, some roasted veggies, a bowl of rice with salmon, avocado and greens, and even leftover dinner from something that you actually enjoy, heated up, plated, and not just eating standing over the sink. Because the goal here is to eat enough and eat something that is truly satisfying. And again, as always, this isn't about perfection, it's about consistency and care. So try to notice if you're gazing or skimping at lunch, and it may be a part of why you feel out of control later on in the day. Then we also want to make sure that we have that mid-afternoon snack. And well, this snack is actually flexible. You might need it mid-morning or mid-afternoon, both times, or maybe not even anything at all. I often have two, but often the one in the morning is a bit smaller. It's my matcha with some fruit. And then in the afternoon, I have a bigger snack because that's when the gap between my main meals is the longest. So anyways, this truly depends on your schedule and your hunger levels. The key is to listen to your body and have a snack when there is a longer gap between your main meals. Pay attention if you start feeling overly hungry or low on energy, because that's the cue to add in something small in terms of a small balanced snack. Or if you notice that hours at the next meal, be it lunch or dinner, depending when you have the longest gap, you feel overly hungry, it would also be a sign that you would benefit from adding in a snack during that or between those meals. This snack is meant to give your body a steady stream of fuel before your next meal. And as for most, the longest break between meals is usually between lunch and dinner. It's also where most people crash. Plus, what can make it worse as well is your body is tired because you've been pushing through your day and your body is begging for energy. And that's why this snack could be super beneficial, because it's pretty much a snack before you get ravenous. And such balanced afternoon or morning snack can prevent nighttime overeating. So examples for this would be hummus with crackers and veggie, apple with cheese or apple and almond butter, smoothies with protein, fats, and carb. Just a mix, not just fruits, because that's just, fast digested carbs that, will spike your blood sugar, but then crash fast as well. So that's why we always want to make sure it's like a balanced meal or snack with all the main macros, protein, carbs, and fat. And a tip here is, of course, to focus on satisfaction, not just clean or light, because this could potentially still boost your thoughts about food. And then the last thing is to make sure that we have a full balanced dinner. This reduces the need to graze later, and it supports your fullness and satisfaction. Most people undereat at dinner trying to be good but end up binging after. It's often like also in terms of maybe not eating something but also having like just a simple plain salad. So it's often no carbs before bed or whatever, once again, diet rules that we have learned. But it's so important to give yourself permission to eat a full satisfying meal at dinner to prevent that urge to binge later on. Not just a salad, not half of what you're craving. It's about real food, real nourishment, and real satisfaction. And this actually ends then the eating for the night because your body finally feels met. What I like to do at dinner is, yes, smaller dinner, because often, I eat the most in the breakfast and I have the least hunger in the evening, but I always make sure that I have that balanced meal. But also I like to keep my dinner a little bit smaller in terms of main dinner, because I want to keep open some space for a little dessert. And this often is chia pudding, some yogurt with granola or fruit, but often it's also just some chocolate and cookies or whatever. But you have to make sure that you are eating enough. So in terms of what your hunger actually wants, or what your body needs to feel satisfied. If you're very hungry, maybe it is a bigger dinner. Sometimes you're less hungry. It can be a smaller, or you can try the strategy from me, like having that full balanced meal in terms of the salty part and the sweet part as a dessert. And truly, if you take anything from this, the most important thing when it comes to healing from overeating is letting go of any restriction. Now, what happens when you do this? Because truly, when you stop restricting by skipping meals and start eating consistently, a few things happen. You think less about food because your brain calms down, because it's no longer feeling starved. You crave less sugar, especially at night, because you're not running on fumes or trying to emotionally make up for the day. And your energy and mood stabilize. And this alone can change so much, from how you work to how you show up in your relationship to how you feel. And yeah, truly, you start to feel calm around food again. Plus, if weight loss is your goal, it becomes so much more sustainable, because your body is no longer stuck in survival mode, and because weight loss is no longer driven by fear, shame, or control. Instead, it is led by true consistency and nourishment, which also again supports your metabolism, that starts to feel supported instead of threatened, and then actually works much better because we're not in that stress mode that we discussed. And even if your body doesn't change immediately, your relationship with food and your body does. And that truly changes everything. Now let's quickly recap. Skipping meals doesn't make you stronger, it makes your body feel unsafe. The more you restrict, the more you obsess. The fix isn't eating perfectly, it's eating consistently and enough. Food isn't the enemy, your body isn't the problem. And freedom doesn't come from eating less, it comes from trust. If this spoke to you and you've been stuck in that loop of skipping meals only to binge or emotionally eat at night, I created a free video training just for you. This is only 8 minutes long, where I walk you through the exact method I use to break the nighttime eating cycle, feel more in control around food, and stop obsessing over every bite, letting go of that binging and all of that. So it's linked down below. You can grab it. It's totally free. And if you start today with this training, you could totally feel a difference by the end of the week. Now drop me a comment and let me know, what is one key meal you're going to commit to this week? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. And also, if this helped you, hit that subscribe, that like button, tap that bell so that you don't miss any video that is coming. And remember, you're allowed to nourish yourself now. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel free now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. But of course, as always, if you do not want to wait until the next video, have a look at this video all about how to stop obsessing about food all day. And yeah, check it out. Lots of love. Until next time.